Yeah, hello, good afternoon. Well, my role at OTRS, it's quite simple. I'm one of the dinosaurs in the OTRS company, using OTRS for more than 9 years now, and being responsible for all the consultancy in mostly Europe and some other parts of the world, and having now a team of about 8 consultants running around and doing OTRS things.
Okay, and you started a partnership with Würth Phoenix 2 years ago. What kind of feedback did you get from the Italian market?
Yes, it's growing and growing. So for this year we have planned to new partnership trainings with Würth Phoenix, one basic training to get some new people involved at Würth Phoenix for doing consultancy, and a deeper training going a little bit beyond the normal usage and the normal knowledge, which will be there in July. So I'm looking forward to be here in July also for this training.
Okay, so you're going to tell us something about the new features of OTRS in your presentation.
Yeah, some new features, some existing features, and some planned features we are currently developing.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Please.
So my speech is mostly about using OTRS as a kind of a center point in IT service management, connecting other software like monitoring systems to OTRS and using the benefits of each of the softwares. First, some facts and figures about OTRS. OTRS is, first of all, an open source project. So we started in 2001 with a project with the first coding of OTRS. So that's nearly 11 years now. So it was steadily growing, the number of developers and especially the number of lines of code. The community has about 5,000 members which are actively contributing mostly bug reports, bug fixes, and most important to us, languages. So OTRS now has about 32 different languages, which is really a very huge amount of languages. And we get about one update a month or one new language sometimes. So that's really great as a feedback from the community. We have about 1 million downloads in all the years. And we estimate about 100,000 really productive OTRS installations. So perhaps some more because it's only the downloads from our servers. The OTRS code is completely licensed on the AGPL version 3. So it's a kind of a viral license like we learned this morning. So all kind of software we provide is licensed on this license code. Yeah, what is the community doing for us? As I already said, quality assurance, sometimes migrations on special platforms, but mostly we use just the Perl. And features and apps. So a good example is our iPhone app. We provide an iPhone app for using a mobile phone with OTRS, and the community already started to provide 3 different implementations of an app for Android using the same backend we provide. So the second part of OTRS is a company OTRS. So OTRS as a company is the source code owner of OTRS. So we are developing mostly all of the code with our own developers. And we earn the money only with services around OTRS. So we do consultancy, we do special development for special features, and all kind of support, and also some managed service. So we operate some OTRS systems for some large customers, and also we have a software as a service part. At the moment we have our main office in Germany. We have smaller branch offices in the Netherlands, Hong Kong and Malaysia, and another one in the US. In all other parts of the world, we are operating our business with partners, with regional partners. So Würth Phoenix, for example, is our regional partner for Italy. And so mostly in Southern America, in Asia and so on, we also have a lot of different partners providing local services because of the different languages and also of the different pricing sometimes. Okay, so I want to tell you something about integration with third-party products. So OTRS can already integrate with a lot of third-party products, especially monitoring systems, as we find here. So for example, Nagios, Ichinga can be integrated with our system monitoring plugin, which is an email interface for creation and closure of tickets out of a monitoring, and it also will change our configuration management database and sets the incident state of a CI to red or green, dependent from the state of CI, which also allows to see the impact on our service catalog and also on other CIs. Groundwork and OpenNMS choose a little bit different way for integration, so both provided some backend functionality and create and close tickets via web service, so it's much faster and more reliable than email for the creation. Würth Phoenix NetEye is a little bit a special part as it integrates OTRS in the whole product and not only between the monitoring part and the OTRS part. We also can integrate with open source or non-open source solutions for data warehousing and reporting. So our database structure is open, so it's quite simple to create own reports, create own dashboards in different business data warehousing software. There are some integrations with CRMs like Sugar CRM and Salesforce, and we have also one integration with the SAP Solution Manager, as this software is quite expensive. A lot of customers using OTRS for the first level support and just connect to the Solution Manager for the second level SAP tickets to save some money. The last part, which is upcoming end of this year, is the integration of Fusion Inventory. Fusion Inventory is an agent for collecting data and populate the CMDB. So why considering the integration of OTRS with third-party products? Well, every of the software developers can focus on his core competencies. We don't have any competence in monitoring, writing agents for collecting data, or CM. We have competence in CMDB, in the ticketing, and in the change management module. So the idea behind this is to use the best of breed of each open source software packages for specific functionality and to integrate it if needed, or to just move some data between these applications. It also gives us a possibility of a step-by-step integration. So we can start with ticketing for incidents, perhaps problems, can have a CMDB with an inventory later on, and so on. It's also easy to replace a component if it is not developed anymore, or another component provides better functionality. And it's easy to extend. So if we want to integrate something new, we just need a connector or a new interface. So first, the integration with the monitoring software. Well, we have a proven postmaster filter, that's the email interface for email-based monitoring alerts. So originally it was designed for Nagios and Ichinga, but the first one we connected was an HP, an HP monitoring system, and also it works nearly out of the box with Microsoft MOM. So nearly all kind of monitoring systems sending emails can be used in a very easy way without changing code. It's just some Perl regexes. So yeah, open view it's. So the benefits of integration with the monitoring, for the admins, it's quite simple. They only have one front end they need to look at. So you don't need to look at the monitoring and on the ticketing. So we'll just look on the ticketing, and if something happens, a ticket is created, perhaps in the right queue for a second or third level support guy, depending on some regular expressions like a server name or a service. So this changed a little bit the workflow. The monitoring software opens the ticket, not a person opens the ticket. The agent, the admin, can document his work now because he has already a ticket, and even he can put some time accountings on here, so we later on can know how many time was spent to solve this incident. On the Nagios-based systems, the logging of the ticket will automatically acknowledge the alert. So the monitoring is not sending out any more messages. If nobody works on this ticket, we can have a second or third step of alerting and sending out perhaps SMS or whatever out of the monitoring solution. And if everything is okay, the admin finished his work, he won't close the ticket in this case. So monitoring will close the ticket because everything is going back to green. So it's a little bit different way of working with a ticket in this case. The second part is the automatic update of the configuration item status in the CMDB. A lot of customers have quite complex CMDBs with virtual CIs for clusters, with a service catalog which depends on these configuration items. Setting a configuration item to red will also change all the connected CIs. So they have a warning status, or perhaps a first level admin who don't know the technical background of all the servers will see, oh, the service HTTP is red, without knowing why it is red, so you know, okay, there is some disturbance. The configuration in OTRS is quite easy. We have mostly, for all kind of these things, a graphical interface. We call it sysconfig. Sysconfig writes a config file afterwards and can be extended very simple, and in here we'll find some, we can read it quite well. The regexes which are used, or the words the regex will look at, for example, if a down message comes into OTRS via email. Also, the possibility is there to easy access information, because the host and the service which is affected will be set to a dynamic field in OTRS. So that's an extra field on a ticket which can be used for searches afterwards. And it will be shown on a special place on the ticket, Zoom. And you see here the Win server is the host, and this is the link in OTRS. So can have dynamic links on the name. So if I click on the link, I will go to my monitoring, to the host information page, and we'll see what's up now with this host and some other information. The acknowledge and log also writes some data in the comments of the Nagios-based system. The default setting is persistent, so it won't be deleted by restarting of the service or updating of the service. So I have also a history of tickets created by the monitoring in the monitoring view, and in this case also this column here contains the ticket number and a link back to the ticket, so I can switch between the two interfaces quite easily. Okay, now something new. This is now in development, so at the moment it will be there around Q3 of this year. It's an integration with Fusion Inventory for enhancing of the configuration management database. Fusion Inventory is a Perl-based inventory management solution that allows to collect a lot of hardware and software information of a lot of different operating systems. As it is written in Perl, it runs nearly everywhere. I also saw a Fusion Inventory agent which runs on Android phones. So it runs on all kind of Windows flavors, on Linux, on BSD, and with BSD it also runs on Mac OS, IBM, HPUX, Solaris, and so on. It can be deployed quite simple. You need some Perl modules, or there are some pre-prepared packages which contain all Perl modules. It will just need one simple config file telling this agent whom to ask for getting information and where to send the data afterwards. So we created a new connector together with the Fusion Inventory team. So it is now a JSON-based web service. In OTRS we have a new web service starting with OTRS 3.1, which was released beginning of this year. And this allows quite simple development of new web services. So we developed a new transport layer for JSON and some new connectors for the CMDB. So it's running only on the generic interface, so it's just a plugin. We will have a mapping of the CI attributes in the web interface. So I can tell the attribute, for example, network interface 1, which is coming out of the hardware information of the Fusion, will be mapped to network interface 5 in my CMDB design. So the OTRS CMDB will be the server implementation. The team for Fusion Inventory does not have a server. They just create an agent, and they're operating right now with GLPI and OCS as a server backend, and OTRS will be the third one. It's firewall friendly because we only have a one-way communication. The agent will connect to the server. The agent will get some information from the server, and the agent will send some information on the server. And it's all done via HTTP or HTTPS, so that's very firewall-oriented. And it will link the hardware CIs, which are updated or created, with software CIs, with the installed software. So after a creation of a CI or update of a CI, I know what kind of software is installed on this PC. So that's how an example output looks like. You see, that's an XML construct, which is used for OCS, and that's a hardware block of one of my PCs at home. That's my iMac. So I get a lot of data. And in OTRS, it will be mapped via a graphical interface to the corresponding CI attributes. So two mechanisms are implemented right now in the Fusion Inventory connector in OTRS. The first one is a get config. So the agent will connect to the server and say, hey, please give me a config. So it will be the URL for submitting the data afterwards, and it will be the lifetime of the configuration. So we are in OTRS setting. I can tell all the agents that they perhaps should connect daily, weekly, or monthly to deliver new data. The second one is set config, and set configs will provide the data like the one we saw on the slide before, and as a JSON data stream. So that's a BIOS data stream from another PC. It's a Lenovo notebook, and it will just give you some data back in the data stream. So these are the slides now showing how the interface in the generic interface will look like. So the first one is the mapping. So first I need to map on which class it is. In the version which we'll release, this will be done via a regex. So I'm telling if in hardware the chassis type is notebook, go to notebook class. Or I can have it in a way like if the name starts with NB, it's a notebook. If the name starts with SV, it's a server. So the decision will be made later in the data stream in which CI class it will be created or updated. Then I need to add some elements, in this case a source element, which is called networks. So that's the name in the JSON data stream. And I need to tell, is it an array with hashes? Is it an array with key and value? Or is it a hash with keys and values? So in here again I have now a regex for the next part of the configuration, so it's still for the source. So I'm telling OTRS what I'm expecting in here. And then I have a list, I don't know if it is really readable here. This is a list of attributes in the CMDB for this class. So I'm choosing now just, okay, I want to have it in my network. We also can have regexes in here. So sometimes we have a mixture between DHCP in a network and fixed addresses. And via regex I can tell if it perhaps should set a yes-no field in the CMDB. For example, is this a DHCP address or is this a DHCP address, a DHCP computer, to yes or no because of the IP address which is used. Well, that's it. Some questions?